Picture your 8-month-old reaching for your plate, and instead of letting them try, you redirect to another spoonful of puree because that's safer. But here's what's wild. Studies are now showing that babies who get finger foods the least often actually choke on them the most when they finally do get them. So today, I'm walking you through the 4 evidence-based truths about baby feeding that will give you the confidence to ditch the myths and follow your baby's lead. These 4 approaches include the surprising research on when babies are actually safer with finger foods, the cultural wisdom that shows purees aren't universal, how to spot the real red flags versus normal messiness, and the simple strategy that ends mealtime battles before they start. The first thing you should do is understand what the research actually says about choking risk. So, when my first baby was 6 months old, I was terrified of giving her anything but purees. My Caribbean grandmother kept saying just mash up what you're eating and give the child, but I was convinced the baby food companies knew better. Then I came across this research study from New Zealand that followed over 200 babies, and what they found shocked me. 35% of babies choked at least once between 6 and 8 months. But here's the kicker. It didn't matter whether they were eating purees or finger foods. The researchers found something even more surprising. Babies who were mostly fed purees and only got finger foods occasionally, they had significantly more choking episodes when they did get finger foods compared to babies who had them regularly. Think about it. If you only learn to swim once a month versus practicing every day, which would make you safer in the water? Number 1, babies who get finger foods from 6 months develop better oral motor skills for managing food safely. They learn to move food around their mouth, break it down, and control what they swallow. Number 2, the gag reflex in babies is actually much further forward in their mouth at 6 months, which means they gag and spit out food before it can become a choking hazard. By 8 to 9 months, that reflex moves back. So starting finger foods later can actually be riskier. Here's what changed everything for me. I learned the difference between gagging and choking. Gagging is loud. There's coughing, sputtering, maybe even some dramatic retching. But that's your baby's built-in safety system working perfectly. Choking is silent. No sound, no coughing, because the airway is blocked. Once I understood this, I could watch my baby gag on a piece of steamed broccoli without panicking, knowing her body was learning exactly what it needed to learn. The second strategy is to look at feeding through a global lens instead of a commercial one. You know what doesn't exist in most of the world? Baby food aisles. Yet somehow, babies everywhere learn to eat just fine. When I visited family in Jamaica, I watched my cousin feed her 7-month-old mashed ackee and saltfish straight from her plate. No special baby bowls, no stress, just food. In Mongolia, 65% of babies are still breastfeeding at 2 years old while also eating dried meat and dairy products. In Bangladesh, a baby's first solid food is often 6 grains of white rice in a special ceremony. Not pureed, just softened rice. But here's what really opened my eyes. Researchers studied infant feeding across 33 countries and found that only in Western countries do we have this whole separate category of baby food. Everywhere else, babies eat modified versions of what their families eat. And you know what? Those babies don't have higher rates of choking or malnutrition. In fact, many have better acceptance of diverse foods. Number 1, making separate baby food is actually a recent invention. It only became popular in the 1920s as a convenience product. For thousands of years before that, babies ate what their families ate. Number 2, when babies eat family foods from the start, they're exposed to real flavors and textures. No wonder so many kids who grow up on bland purees become picky eaters, They've never learned what real food tastes like. I realized I was spending so much money on tiny jars of sweet potato puree when I could just mash up some of our sweet potato. Once I started thinking this way, feeding became so much simpler. My baby ate curry goat, mild version, rice and peas, well mashed, and yes, even jerk chicken pulled into tiny shreds. And you know what? She loved it all. Next, you need to know the difference between real red flags and normal baby eating behavior. Because I can't tell you how many times I've had moms in my practice worried about things that are completely normal while missing signs that actually need attention. So here's what's actually normal. Babies playing with food, throwing food, spitting food out, going through phases where they only want 5 foods, eating tons one day and barely anything the next. My second child went through a phase where everything had to be dipped in yogurt, carrots, chicken, even watermelon. Weird? Yes. Concerning? Not at all. But here are the real red flags that pediatricians look for. If your baby is losing weight, if they gag or vomit with certain textures consistently, if they're showing signs of dehydration, if they can't move food around in their mouth by 8 to 9 months, or if mealtimes are becoming increasingly stressful and they're refusing more and more foods. One study found that if babies aren't exposed to varied textures by 9 months, they're more likely to become extremely picky eaters later. Number 1, trust your gut, but check it against actual medical criteria. When my daughter refused solids for 3 days, I panicked. But she was still breastfeeding well, had wet diapers, and was her usual happy self. My pediatrician reminded me that as long as she wasn't showing those red flag signs, this was just a phase. Number 2, document patterns, not individual incidents. Every baby will have off days. It's when those days become weeks that you need to investigate further. The thing is, we've been trained to see any deviation from smooth, consistent eating as a problem. But babies are learning a complex skill. Imagine if someone watched you learn to ride a bike and worried every time you wobbled. Of course, there's going to be mess and mistakes. That's how they learn. The fourth approach is to follow your baby's lead with structured support. And this is where everything comes together, because once you understand the research and trust the process, you can relax into feeding instead of forcing it. There's this brilliant study where researchers found that babies who were allowed to self-feed enjoyed their food more and were less likely to be picky eaters. But here's the crucial part. It wasn't just throw food at baby and hope for the best. The successful families had structure, regular meal times, appropriate foods offered, and parents who ate with their babies. Number 1, offer appropriate options, but let baby choose what and how much. I started putting 3 or 4 different foods on my baby's tray. Maybe some roasted sweet potato wedges, strips of omelet, and steamed green beans. Some days, she'd demolish the sweet potato and ignore everything else. Other days, she'd carefully examine each green bean like a scientist. Both were fine. Number 2, eat together whenever possible. Babies learn by watching, and when they see you enjoying your food, they want to copy. This is why in cultures where families eat from shared plates, babies naturally learn to eat what everyone else is eating. You become their model for how to handle food, how to chew, how to enjoy meals. I saved the most powerful for last because this changed everything for our family. We stopped making mealtimes about getting food into the baby and started making them about being together. No more airplane coming in for landing or stressed counting of bites. Just family time where food happened to be present. When I stopped trying to control every aspect of feeding, something beautiful happened. My anxious first-time mom energy disappeared, and my baby actually started eating better. She was more adventurous, more engaged, and mealtimes became enjoyable instead of battlegrounds. It reminds me of something my grandmother always said: child must eat, but child must also learn joy. The truth is, Feeding our babies doesn't have to be this complicated, fearful thing we've made it. Yes, we need to be aware of safety. Yes, we should watch for real concerns. But mostly, we need to trust our babies and trust ourselves. They're designed to learn to eat, just like they're designed to learn to walk and talk. Our job is to provide the opportunities and support, not to force the process. Think about it. Every adult you know learned to eat solid food, and most of them did it without special equipment, commercial baby food, or anxiety-ridden parents. Your baby can too. Whether you choose purees, finger foods, or a combination, what matters most is that you're responding to your baby's needs and development, not to fear-based marketing or outdated myths. Remember, you're not just feeding your baby. You're teaching them that food is enjoyable, that their body's signals matter, and that they're capable of learning new things. That's a gift that will last their lifetime. And when mealtimes get messy, because they will, when your baby seems to be eating nothing but bread for a week, because they might, when you're wondering if you're doing it all wrong, because we all do, remember this: your baby is learning, growing, and developing exactly as they should. Trust the process, trust your baby, and most importantly, trust yourself. If you found this helpful and want a complete guide to starting solids with confidence, I've created a free baby feeding starter guide that includes safe first foods for every stage, how to spot the difference between gagging and choking, and my favorite family meals that baby can enjoy too. You can grab that in the description below,